First one up for the NFC North on our list will be none other than the Minnesota Vikings at
Yes.
6-11.
Yes.
Ooh. Well, if you heard anything over the last couple of years about how we feel about JJ McCarthy, it's not doing himself any favors that he's coming off of 2 surgeries that he had to get. I think one was like a cleanup surgery. The other one was because he tore his knee up after having a sensational game in the preseason, which everybody started. You already know, Don, man, you were just looking back, just shaking our head like,
Yep.
you big dummies. Don't get so hyped off of this one performance. And it just proved that they had a pretty good team last year. Sam Darnold comes in.
Yeah, they did.
And league, led them to a 14-3 record where they ended up coming short in the playoffs.
Yep.
However, Sam Darnold is now on the Seattle Seahawks. But he had a sensational year. We were talking about him being an MVP candidate up till probably about like week 11, week 12, when things started to pull a little bit away for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, had 67 carries for 212 yards. He has an overall expected points added was 16.8. So pretty efficient there as the quarterback for them. Their defensive performance, Brian Flores, we talked about this guy a lot, right? Ranking 5th in the league in points allowed, conceding 19.5 points per game. They recorded 49 sacks, 33 takeaways, and 24 interceptions with a league best blitz rate of 40.6 and the fastest time to pressure the quarterback averaging 2.53 seconds. They're also second in the league for average rushing yards allowed with 93.4. Pretty incredible stuff for Brian Flores and the boys. They brought in the likes of Blake Cashman and a couple other guys to help them out on that defensive front while getting rid of one of our favorites, Danielle Hunter, who was still part of our top 10 edge rushers in our list this year. Notable additions. They go ahead and go to the Washington Commanders and they said, hey, give us Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. So they get both of those guys to bolster what we've considered over the years to be one of the worst defensive line fronts in the league in the middle of the field. Will Fries comes over. Ryan Kelly comes over.
Right.
Jordan Mason, which was a very interesting acquisition for them. Hopefully they can get something out of Jeff Okudah as they bring him in. And then just a kind of a security blanket for a guy that we've talked about maybe is an underrated guy that could possibly be a starter again one day, maybe taking the Sam Darnold path and Sam Howell that comes over in a trade from Seattle during the draft period. They also re-signed Aaron Jones, 2 years, $20 million. They got Harrison Smith on a 1 year. I think that's prove it. You're getting up there in age. It's time in football years, and it's time to retire. Theo Jackson, 2-year extension. Byron Murphy Jr., who's been one of our favorites over the years, 3 years, $54 million, well-deserved contract there. And then, of course, Sam Darnold leaves for Seattle. Cameron Bynum's not there. Garrett Bradbury's not there. And the guy that I wasn't so high on when they traded for him last year, and it's just kind of funny to see him have his departure with the Vikings and Cam Robinson, their right tackle. Boo hoo hoo. I told you guys about Cam Robinson a long time ago. Then they go in the draft. Donovan Jackson.
With 5 picks, right?
With 5 picks. They need an offensive lineman. They got Donovan Jackson. Then they go to the 3rd round. They choose Ty Felton, who I was very high on in the draft process until I saw him at the Senior Bowl drop 4 passes in a row in practice.
Yeah.
And I said, way to embarrass me out here. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins from Georgia. They get him on the defensive line. So get another guy, one underrated linebacker out of Penn State, and Kobe King. And a guy that I've been talking about ad nauseum at the tight end position for years, and Gavin Bartholomew from Pittsburgh, who is one of my favorites in this class to help a ailing TJ Hawkinson, who has not been healthy over the years. So with that being said, 6-11, when we looked at the schedule across the board, just there's so many different uncertainties there. Justin Jefferson, of course, top 2 wide receiver in the league. Number 1 considered by a lot of people. Aaron Jones is going to be awesome, but I don't know, Don. I just feel like that there's a lot here to not be desired, not only with an aging safety, but it seems like a team that's still trying to find their identity, even though there's a lot of familiar faces around.
Yeah, absolutely. You're looking at a team that was overall 11th on offense and 10th on defense last year, 8th on special team. And can you say they really improved the roster that much in any of those areas? I mean, even looking beyond the scope of what we see, if you turn into fantasy projections, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at the first week. What are the percentage chances for some of these players to hit certain things? J.J. McCarthy to pass for 300 yards. There's only a 14% chance that's going to happen. I mean, Jordan Mason rushing, the chance to rush 100 yards. There's a 3% chance that's going to happen. And then Justin Jefferson, chance for 100 yards receiving, only a 37% chance in week 1. So, yes, there are some name players. Yes, they do have some talent. Yes, they have some young players. Are they ready to play? They're going to be hard to match up to anything they did last year.
Yeah, and it seems like the consensus agrees with us. They've been ranging anywhere from, which is a crazy range, from a C- to an A as far as their draft grade, and we gave them a C. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's not the fact that we don't like Donovan Jackson. He was great when filling in for Josh Simmons. We understand that move, but Ty Felton is really what brought this grade down, and also getting Tyrion or Ingram Dawkins to come in when they've already brought in two not premier, but Javon Hargrave, I still think it can be a top defensive tackle. He was really good for the 49ers and the Eagles previously. But Jonathan Allen, who's on a 3-year deal, and I believe he's the elder of Javon Hargrave. So kind of weird situation out there. But
and I mean, we give him a C grade. C is average, right? It is not a failing grade.
It's not.
So come on now, people.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how, like, what grades mean. Like, let's go back to school. You can pass your classes with a C. So, I mean, your parents might not have liked it, but it is what it is. A C is a passing grade. Yeah, everybody keeps talking about Kevin O'Connell, right? And KOC, as they call him. But I look at the fact that you had Kirk Cousins, who was already good with the Commanders, comes over, and I felt like he was the most unappreciated quarterback at times for the Vikings over the years. We understand tears Achilles, and it is what it is. Michael Penix Jr. is going to be the starter for the Falcons. Is it going to be the same with J.J. McCarthy if he ends up doing, remotely around the same thing Kirk Cousins did in his career? I don't think J.J. is Kirk Cousins' stature, but if he does worse, I want them to keep the same energy as they did with Kirk Cousins, if not even worse than what he got. J.J. has the tools. He does. But the amount of reps that he got just handing the balls off still scares the hell out of me at Michigan. Literally. He was a conveyor belt for his running backs at Michigan. I hope, Vikings fans, you get everything that you wanted, but unfortunately, the theme of this year's record predictions, and I've been saying this, is a lot of teams understood what they had to do to beat the teams in their division. You have 6 games that you have to play there, which is almost damn near half of your schedule. How can you beat those teams? Because if you beat those teams, you're going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
And so I don't think the Vikings move the needle for that. And so I think that's the theme that we're going to keep going here for. So that's the Minnesota Vikings. I know a lot of us, where's Dylan at when you need him? I don't know if Dylan agrees, but I'm sure Dylan's going to rewatch this or watch the video that comes out. I'm sorry, man. I want them to be good. I think they have some of the best jerseys in the league, but just having good jerseys and a cool fan base doesn't mean that you guys are going to win, 9 or 10 games.
Right.
Third place team.
Not this year.
Yeah, not this year for sure. T-Bass is in here. He's a Vikings fan. Hold on, let me go to the comments real quick. I'll give Kevin O'Connell some benefit of the doubt and say they can get 7 or 8 wins. Maybe. I mean, we wouldn't be too far off if that happened. I think their defense gives them a couple more wins. Maybe it was first year magic, but when everybody offensively in this division got better,
yeah,
defense is going to look a little different. We'll get into that. I made Vikings fans, and you know how to trigger a Vikings fan the quickest. Say something bad about JJ McCarthy. Yeah, T-Bass is not a JJ McCarthy fan, so I can respect that from you, sir. Thank you very much. You are here. But 6-11, I think it's one of those things that they're just going to reevaluate what they got offensively and let bygones be bygones.